It's been 20 years since Al Gore released his Academy Award-winning PowerPoint presentation, An Inconvenient Truth.
If this were to go, sea level worldwide would go up 20 feet.
This is what would happen in Florida. Around Shanghai, home to 40 million people. The area around Calcutta, 60 million. Here's Manhattan. The World Trade Center Memorial would be underwater. Think of the impact of a couple 100,000 refugees, and then imagine 100 million.
Al Gore on the 20th anniversary of the release of An Inconvenient Truth, the Oscar-winning documentary about Gore's campaign to educate people about climate change. A big picture of Al Gore, scientists were dead right. Okay. There is a great essay out by Bjorn Lomborg, who's the former director of the Danish government's Environmental Assessment Institute in Copenhagen, pointing out that the core narrative of the film, of An Inconvenient Truth 20 years ago, was that climate change is driving ever-worsening disasters such as floods, droughts, storms, and wildfires. Mr. Lomborg points out, over the past century, even as the global population quadrupled, deaths from climate-related disasters plummeted. They have declined by over 97%. It's not that they went up, even as the global population massively increased. They declined almost entirely. How about on the hurricanes? Al Gore's movie said hurricanes were going to become more frequent and stronger. According to global data, there has actually been a decline in hurricane frequency and their total energy, their total strength, since comprehensive satellite data began in 1980. How about the wildfires? We were told the wildfires were going to get so much worse. Globally, annual burned area from wildfires has declined, not increased, declined by more than 25% over the last quarter century, over almost exactly the period since Al Gore made his stupid predictions. Well, we know the image from Inconvenient Truth. One of the most heartbreaking predictions that Al Gore makes is the polar bear. The poor polar bear is going to disappear because of the melting of Arctic ice. Polar bear populations in 1960 were about 12,000. There were over 26,000 today. Not only has the population not disappeared, it's more than doubled. Hey, you know what? Al Gore's got one last defense. What he's going to say is, I know what he's going to say. He's going to say, well, the reason that my predictions didn't come true. Well, actually, what he's going to say is he's just going to lie about it. But if he had to answer for all of those facts, what he would say, if I were him, is he would say, well, the reason that those predictions haven't come true is because we've done so much to reduce carbon emissions and burning fossil fuels and the effects of climate change. And that is why, because of my movie, I Saved the World, I, St. Al Gore. That didn't happen either. In 2006, the world got 82.6% of its total energy, not just electricity, from fossil fuels, according to the International Energy Agency. Almost 20 years later, do you know what the number is? Do you know what percentage of our total energy we get from fossil fuels? It was 82.6. Today, it's 81.1. It's a rounding error of difference. It's exactly the same almost. And yet, none of the predictions came true. The opposite of the predictions happened. And it wasn't just, whoopsie daisy, how well-intentioned Al Gore was. It was less acutely felt than the lockdowns during COVID, but nevertheless, these people screwed up our lives because of their stupid lies about global warming. These people messed up our lives. Right down to taking away our light bulbs. They took away our light bulb, the nice incandescent light bulbs. They took those away for the poisonous mercury light bulbs and the ugly LED light bulbs. They messed that up. They hiked up energy prices. They took your taxpayer dollars and subsidized a bunch of stupid vehicles in the name of climate change. They hiked up your prices on a lot of things. They put up those ugly windmills, which were just payoffs to their friends in different industries. They used the supposedly existential threat of global warming to clamp down, steal more power in the government, to regulate your lives more. They did that. And it was all fake. It was all a lie. It's not that the weather doesn't change. It's not that there aren't even macro trends over not just decades, but centuries. Yeah, sure, that's all true. But what Al Gore predicted and what all the scientists said with the UN and the institutions and the academy and the media and the politicians, it was just fake. It was not only not true, it was the opposite of the truth. And none of them will face any consequences for it. None of them will even admit to it. They'll all get off scot-free. And more importantly for us, they're going to do it again. Are we going to be awake to that this time? I hope so.